Inspired Generosity is looking for the everyday Muslim American story. We want to hear the story from each one of you. You may think your story isn't important, but it's a very important story.
I'm inspired to be generous through lived experiences growing up, going to college, receiving scholarships, then also just thinking about people giving time through mentorship, helping me along my career or just personally. Those, I think they planted seeds in me that inspired me to be generous with my time and money in different ways.
I didn't know what the word philanthropy means until about 4 or 5 years ago. Not really, I never looked into it until somebody approached me and stated that I was one of the top philanthropists in Chicago, and I'm just like, I don't know what that means really, you know? But as I dabbled more into it, I realized what philanthropy to me meant was this complete package of not just funding financially or anything as that. It's basically sharing your ideas, right? Sharing your heart, sharing your service, sharing your time.
It's really important for institutional philanthropy to start questioning themselves or asking, is there a blind side? Have we not funded certain organizations? Have we not heard certain stories? Have we been not in community with individuals? And once you notice that blind side, are you being honest and open to examining what is the reason for not being in those communities?
I got into community work in general really through my mom. So when I was a young kid, I was in Boy Scouts. My mother was the one who always organized our spaghetti dinners for the Boy Scout troop. And I would watch her as a young kid and just see how much frustration she went through, but yet how much satisfaction she got out of serving people. As I got older, I inherited that spirit of being a servant of the people from her. Seeing what other people sacrifice, how other people give, energizes me because generosity is contagious.
As a Muslim and in Islam, the generosity that happens through charity, through giving, through volunteerism, it's really focused on the humility that we are asking of ourselves in that moment. For some of us, it may be that we are not able to give in terms of wealth or monetary contributions. Maybe the way that we give is really through care and comfort, and it's through building relationship. It's through buying groceries for your elderly neighbor who was not able to go to the grocery store because they were immunocompromised and couldn't go out during the COVID lockdown. I think sometimes people think of philanthropy only as money, and that's the only way that you get to be a philanthropist. But that's actually not true.
It's important to share a story of generosity. I think it goes back to planting seeds and leaving the earth or the world better than how you found it. Hopefully, sharing stories about generosity inspires someone else who may be on the fence or may be lukewarm, inspires someone to be generous in some way, either with time, money, however they see fit.
When you come into a conversation with somebody's story, you're really learning about who they are in the way that they see themselves. And that can be a huge gift to learning about communities and people. And also it bounds us together in some ways, right? It creates threads that connect us.
Sometimes you feel like there's a lack of humanity in today's culture, where things that you thought there's no way that someone would do something like that, or there's no way that this could be overlooked. But the more and more people tell their stories, the more and more humanity brings the humanity back into people.
With Inspired Generosity, we get the opportunity for Muslim Americans to tell their story and be proud of their story, because there's so many great stories that I'm so proud that we're able to share. So many stories that we're able to really highlight the goodness of the Muslim American community.
The amount of storytelling that we need today is the medicine that I think can cure a lot of our issues, because if you don't see others in your neighborhood, in your area, in your nation, in other nations as human, and you're not able to relate to them, then you're not going to relate to them if they're going through a natural disaster or war or anything else, because they're seen as others, they're seen as alien to you. But if you don't hear their stories, you're never going to be able to connect.
And by you trusting Inspired Generosity to share your story, you're really opening up so many more other stories that are going to come forward. So go ahead, take the time. Write your story down, draw a picture, say a spoken word, talk to someone else and interview them about their inspired generosity story. But don't let this opportunity go by, because we want to hear your story, because your story is important to us.